Why does everybody care about the greedy mouse, Mickey Mouse, and why not Mr. Jingles? Mr. Jingles is my favorite mouse ever.
Please, Bo. Don't put that thing over my face. Don't put me in the dark. I was afraid of the dark.
This movie, this is not a movie you can just sit down and say, I want to watch The Green Mile. No, it's not that kind of movie. This movie made me cry so many times. It's spoilers. I don't care anymore. I can't even talk straight. The death of I don't remember his name. I feel so bad. But the guy who loved the Mr. Jingles, his death was like the single most scene I cried in, especially when Percy. I hate Percy. He's one of the worst. He's not even considered. I don't think he's considered a villain, but I don't care. He's one of the worst villains. Right when he said, "There is no Mouseville," to Mr. Jingle's owner, and I don't care. I'm not gonna call him that. I want to find out his real name. Edward. That's his name. What his death scene? It had me crying. I could not control myself. I just couldn't. I didn't care. It's sad. I didn't know what to expect from this movie. Paul Edgecombe didn't believe in miracles until the day he met one. Okay, very vague. Nothing else. And miracles happen in unexpected places, even in death row. So block at Cold Mountain Penitentiary. I don't know if I said that correct. I don't. That's vague. I don't know. I don't know. I didn't know what this movie is about. All I know is that it's sad. I didn't know it was gonna be that sad. I don't. This is not a movie you can easily sit down and say I want to watch The Green Mile. It's you have to like be mentally prepared. Unlike I am, you have to know what it's about. I had no idea, so I was in for not a treat. No, it's a fantastic movie. It's one of my favorites now, but it's not one me personally, I could just rewatch it over and over again because it's just I cannot go through the burden of seeing my characters we grow to like. When the mouse first appeared, like in the movie, when he, like there was a huge like segment dedicated to like them trying to catch the mouse. I'm like, oh, that's cool. Like the daily life of what they do. That's cool. I don't know what the purpose of it is, but I'm assuming it's gonna be more important to the story. And then right when Edward, like started petting the mouse, and then like he found out it was like mouse trained. I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool. And then when Percy stepped on it, I had to do something, and then I came back, and then I saw like this exact second when Percy squished the mouse. I'm like, it caught me off guard. So I didn't know. But one thing I was not expecting was John Coffey, not spelled. It's like the drink, but spelled different. I did not expect him to have powers. I thought this was gonna be like a grounded movie. It is, but it's just like a miracle. It's a grounded movie, but has fantastical elements. If that makes sense. So John, he revives the mouse. So I'm like, oh, okay, that's good. And Percy, everything that happened to him after, I don't want to say this, but he deserves it. Especially after he said Mouseville isn't real, you saw Edward's face, and he was so sad. And then when he had to put the sponge, he didn't make it wet. So he just put it on his head, and then like they put the stuff over him. And then knowing he's very sad right now, and then one thing I didn't what like infuriated me in the movie is that Tom Hanks's character, he realized, hey, it's not why isn't there water? It should be like dripping. And then why didn't he say anything? He's like, hey, stop. No, he didn't say anything. That kind of really infuriated me, but afterwards when Percy said, I didn't know it was supposed to be wet, and Brutal, I think his name is, he just started like hitting him. I'm like, okay, that is good job. Percy acts all like, look at it, like it treats everybody very like bad. But when someone like rises up to him and makes him feel bad, one scene he pees his pants. That's how you can tell what kind of person he is. It made a lot of sense to what Tom Hanks's character said. Like, if I kill God's creation, what, and then I meet him, what am I gonna say? It was my job. That felt so. The, Overall, this movie is sad. It's really sad, but amazing. Unquestionably, the best picture of the year. I don't know what it was up against, but I'm sure it had some good competitors, I guess. Actually, let me see. Okay, Saving Private Ryan, I heard is good. I've never seen it. The Thin Red Line, if I remember that correctly, I found kind of boring, but I need to rewatch it. But I can't say really, but yeah, I think it would win. I don't know if it won or not, but yeah, I hope it did. Of Mice and Men, A Dog's Purpose. Those are the two that come to mind. Those are the movies that made me cry. This one is the one now like gets added in the list. If I can only like really rewatch it like once a year, and or if I'm showing it to someone. That's really the only way I can rewatch this. Like I can't just put it in right now and say, oh, let's watch The Green Mile. I can't. I don't want to go through that burden. But at the end, when he says Mr. Jingles and himself are still alive, well, Mr. Jingles especially, I'm like, okay, yes, yes. The ending kinda fell flat when he said, I live for a long time now and I have to take on the burden of seeing everyone die before my eyes. I don't know. They didn't hit, like, it didn't convince me, if that makes sense. Like, it didn't hit, like, my heart. I didn't really get it. That's what I mean. So it didn't really do anything for me. But when Mr. Jingles is still alive, I'm like, okay, yes, that is very good. The Green Mile, I highly recommend it, but be prepared, okay? Mentally and physically with your eyes, be prepared.
He kill them with their love. That's how it is every day, all over the world.